A breakup with an avoidant ex is never easy. You're in tears, and it's like they don't even care at all. There's a fundamental disconnect between the two of you, a gap that you just can't bridge. So I understand the impulse to try to make your ex regret the breakup. And this isn't about revenge. It's about making them see what they've lost. And the good news is that if you follow my advice, not only can you make your ex feel like they made a mistake, you can also bring them back to you for another chance. I, of course, am Brad Browning, and I've been a professional breakup coach for almost 15 years now. And so I know that dating an avoidant can be hugely demoralizing because their cold behavior really wreaks havoc on your self-esteem. But you need to know that just because they may act like they have no emotions, it doesn't mean that your avoidant ex truly doesn't care about you. Most often, this coldness is just a mask. Avoidants are really very good at hiding what they feel inside. But this mask works so well that they're often confused about their own feelings. All they can do is keep stonewalling, keep ignoring, and keep running away. So then how do you access these emotions, and how do we get them to stop running? Well, first off, let's talk about what not to do. Many people really don't know how to treat avoidance. And it's hard to blame them, because every avoidant by definition struggles to communicate their needs and emotions clearly. So that leaves you with a mixed up picture of what they're thinking and what they're feeling. And that is why so many people make the kind of mistakes that cause avoidants to get upset, turn away, and ultimately back off for good. And these are the mistakes that cause disconnection in your relationship and probably led to the breakup. Now, this isn't to blame you for what happened, because you were only doing what came naturally to you. But with avoidance, following your intuition really doesn't work. And it's not going to work after the breakup either. You're not going to get your ex to feel regret by trying to shame them for breaking up with you. You can't insult, bully, or embarrass them into missing you. But you also can't be overly kind, gentle, or caring towards them either. You really can't be too aggressive in any way, or it's going to be obvious that you're trying to manipulate them and change their feelings towards you. And avoidants are extra sensitive to manipulation. Whereas most exes will at least be flattered by your desire to win them back, avoidants are only going to feel threatened. So basically, you want to hide your emotions the way they're hiding theirs, because this is going to accomplish a couple of things. First, it'll make your ex feel safer. Because avoidants are threatened by emotional outbursts and don't often know how to navigate difficult emotions, they feel safer when things are low-key and less emotionally charged. So if you can be more chill, your ex is going to be attracted to that. And second, it's going to make your ex worry about losing you. And this is the real emotion that we're trying to elicit in your ex. The fear that you're going to move on and leave them in the dust. If you can make them feel that, they'll not only regret the breakup, but they'll come running back to you in hopes of winning you back. So if they're used to seeing you sad and depressed or overly friendly or even angry, then they know that you want them back. But it's when you drop all that and really become casual and restrained that they'll think that you're totally over them. So once you're able to calm down and keep your emotions to yourself in front of your ex, you'll be in the perfect position to begin winning them back for good. So stop telling them how much you miss them, how they need to come back, and how you've changed. And stop spending all your time talking to them. It doesn't matter how much you're able to keep your feelings inside. If you text your ex 10 times a day and you cancel your plans to hang out with them, there isn't going to be any doubt that you're still interested. And this is where no contact can be so effective, because not only does it give your ex a chance to process the breakup and start to really miss you, it also starts to put your feelings for them in doubt, which makes them want to chase you. Now, I don't have time to cover it all here, so I'm going to drop a link in the description below and up here in the corner, and that's where you can check out one of my best videos on how no contact actually works. And I promise it has worked for thousands of people all over the world, and it can work for you too. So check out that video next. But basically, by changing how you treat your ex and going no contact, you're going to get your ex into a zone where they're not sure what you're feeling and really what you want from them. And that's going to make them curious, and then curiosity is going to create interest. So again, we need to be subtle here. So don't proceed with this step until you're back in regular contact with your ex. Because whatever message you send them out of the blue is going to be picked apart. And if your ex has a brain in their head, it'll be very clear what you're trying to do. You want this to be an offhand remark that seems totally casual and real, rather than a targeted nuclear strike on their emotions. So by now you've evened up the playing field a bit and you've gotten back into more regular contact. So what can you say to them to make them regret the breakup and kickstart their feelings for you? Well, this is the message you want them to receive. That you're moving on to bigger and better things, that they messed up by ending things, but you don't hold it against them because, and this part is crucial, they're just not capable of giving you what you need in a relationship. But you don't want to say it in those exact words. So here's how you should handle it. First, you get them talking, and then mid-conversation, you stop responding to their messages for a day or a couple of days. And then you hit them with something like this. Hey, sorry I missed your text. I've been really busy lately. I know this breakup has sucked for both of us, but I finally started to accept that it's all for the best. I guess it took me a while to see what you saw. You just aren't able to give me what I need in a relationship. And that's okay. Now, despite the casual tone there, this is a really heavy message because of what it's going to mean to your ex. It's going to make them feel a lot of pain for how they handled not only the breakup, but the relationship itself. It's going to confirm for them the avoidant's biggest fear, that they're not able to make a committed relationship work because they lack the capacity for intimacy and vulnerability. Now, I'm sure they never expressed this to you. In fact, they probably made you feel like you were the problem. That's a classic avoidant tactic just to avoid accountability. And that's because deep down, they're terrified of the idea that it's all their fault. That if they weren't so avoidant, then the relationship would have been better for both of you and they'd never feel the desire to end things in the first place. And this idea is going to destroy their hopes of starting a new relationship. Because if this is their issue, then why would it be any different with anyone else? They'll see that while they can run from you, they can't run from themselves. And this is going to hurt them deeply, and it will probably make them pull away from you for a bit. They'll be, lost in their own head. But over time, this message is actually going to end up bringing them back to you because it'll show them that you've been paying attention. You were able to really figure out what makes them tick. You see them, you really see them. And you acknowledge this stuff without casting harsh judgment on them. Just like many people, avoidants fear being judged by somebody who truly knows and understands them. This would feel like the ultimate exposure for somebody who's worked so hard to avoid intimacy and avoid vulnerability. So knowing that you don't have any hard feelings towards them for the breakup, it makes them feel drawn to you. It makes them think that maybe they've misjudged you. They'll see that they did actually let you in, even if it was unintentional, and the results weren't nearly as catastrophic as they expected. So maybe getting closer to you is not only possible, but maybe it's the best option for them moving forward. Now, it's not always so easy to read your avoidant ex's mind, especially when they continue to be distant. And that's actually why I created my free quiz, which you can find and try for yourself at breakupbrad.com/quiz. Just answer the questions there, and you'll get a personalized report detailing exactly what your chances are with your ex, including some personalized next steps that you can take to start winning them back. Again, it's free, and it's at breakupbrad.com/quiz. So again, guys, don't expect your ex to get this message and just show up at your door with flowers 10 minutes later. This is just laying the groundwork for them to slowly realize what they've lost. Now, don't be concerned if they don't respond how you'd like them to. They may change the subject or even leave you unread. But trust me, they're going to be thinking about what you said all day. Now, the important thing is that you really never need to bring this up again or try to push them to respond to you, because that's only going to make them realize that this message wasn't so innocent. And if they feel like you're manipulating them, like we said, they're just going to run away again. So let it sit and just give them space. You're going to come to see that giving an avoidant space is almost always a good move. Now, people really resist this idea because, they don't want to give their ex what they want. They think it'll set a bad precedent where their ex can just show up whenever they feel like it and then disappear. And yes, there is some truth to this, so you do really have to strike a balance. But giving your ex space isn't about sacrificing your own needs or letting them run the show. It'll actually help you get what you want from them in the long run. Because when an avoidant is left alone, they really start to miss you. This goes for both in a relationship and after a breakup. And because they don't feel pressure to stay in constant contact, it becomes their choice to reconnect with you. And this is powerful because avoidants so often feel pressured by their romantic partners, and that causes resentment. Whenever they make the active choice to reach out to you first, that strengthens your bond because it reinforces the neural pathways that associate you with their desires. Instead of being an annoyance who's always bugging them for attention, you become what they're striving for. Your scarcity becomes your strength, your appeal. And it's going to attract them in a powerful way if you can keep your distance. All right, guys, and that brings us to the end of today's video. I hope you now understand a little bit more about avoidance and how to deal with your avoidant ex. Of course, it can be a little messy, but it's really more manageable than people make it out to be once you really understand what drives them. While you're here, please like this video and subscribe for more content like this. And best of luck out there. I'll see you next time.